Yo, what is good YouTube? I'm Richie Cam, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on the Nike G.T Cut 3 Turbo, and specifically this is the black label version or colorway. But before we get started, if you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below, and please hit that bell notification button so you never miss another video just like this one. Also, if you did want to buy a pair of these, I will leave a link in the description box below. If you do purchase through that link, it does help me out directly, which is very much appreciated. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the GT Cut 3 Turbo features the exact same traction pattern as the regular GT Cut 3. So what you're gonna get is pretty much a herringbone traction pattern. And in this particular colorway, I don't know, this rubber is kind of like almost like iridescent gray. So is this really a solid rubber outsole or not? I guess kinda. It looks cool though. And how's the traction on the GT Cut 3 Turbo? It's good. It's pretty much the same as the regular GT Cut 3 in my opinion. If you are playing on your clean courts, you're gonna have a very, very solid bite. You're gonna have pretty much no issues on a clean court. The only problem is when it does come to dust. For me, I believe my initial experience with the GT Cut 3 was I did have like some issues when it came to dust. Like you kind of slide to a stop if you let the dust just sit there and accumulate. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you all, wipe if you are playing on your dustier courts, because you're gonna have the same problem with this. It does pick up a little bit of dust, but it's fairly easy to wipe off. Just make sure you do wipe every so often if you are playing on your dustier courts, and you should have a few good stops before you have to wipe again. So yeah, I mean, on dustier courts, as long as you wipe, you're still going to be covered. You'll have pretty good traction. If you don't, you might slide to a stop. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, overall traction, I would say is pretty much the exact same as the regular GT Cut 3. So clean courts are good, dusty courts, you just gotta wipe. So moving on to the cushion. Just like the regular GT Cut 3, the GT Cut 3 Turbo features a full-length ZoomX midsole, and yeah, it's nice. If you all haven't played in the regular GT Cut 3, what you're gonna get out of the ZoomX midsole is a feeling that's like kind of almost like a Zoom unit, but not really a Zoom unit. The ZoomX midsole does provide like a decent amount of impact protection, but you also feel a pretty quick. I felt plenty quick in this shoe. You do get like pretty decent court feel and responsiveness out of this shoe as well. What this isn't going to give you is a lot of impact protection though. So if that is something that you were expecting, don't really expect that. You also do get like a nice little bounce out of this as well. And one thing that they did change from the regular GT Cut 3 to the GT Cut 3 Turbo is they actually changed out the insole. So the insole is actually made out of ZoomX as well. And yeah, the insole, personally, I'm not a fan of because it is made out of that foam. So it basically has the same texture as like a drop-in midsole, whatever it is, like Cushionline or whatever. And my issue with those foam insoles is that it grabs your sock. And all of what I'm about to say doesn't really have to do anything with like how the cushion actually feels. Putting on the shoes is a pain in the ass because the foam does grab your sock as you're sliding your foot into the shoe, which makes your toes curls up and my foot cramps. So it does take a little bit of work to kind of flatten out your sock again and kind of get comfortable in the shoe. And Nike says that the ZoomX midsole does add a little bit more responsiveness and springiness or something like that. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I honestly couldn't tell too much, but it does add a little bit more comfort, obviously. But yeah, personally, I wish they didn't change the insole, or if they did, just add like a little fabric layer right on top so you don't have that sock scrunching issue. But going back to the overall cushion setup, yeah, it's nice. As a guard, you will definitely like it. It's very comfortable, and you will still feel plenty explosive. So moving on to the materials, I'm not sure if the material choices on the GT Cut 3 Turbo Black Label are going to be different from the regular GT Cut 3 Turbo, but they are definitely using a more stiff and rigid material. You do have like this foam back textile material, And then on top of it, you do have like these rubber overlays, which does give the shoe a nice little structure and rigidity to it, which is an improvement in my opinion on the materials on the regular GT Cut 3, because that's where I think, you know, the shoe suffered a little bit. As you move towards the back of the shoe, you do have like this foam back screen mesh, and it is very, very stiff. You do have like a TPU overlay on it as well. And in the back, you do have like this hard rubber material. I'm not sure why it's there, maybe for aesthetics, but it looks cool. As you move towards the tongue, you do have like the same material that's featured on the toe. It is stiff and it is like adequately padded. So if you do like to crank down your laces, you won't really feel the laces digging into the top of your foot, which is nice. So yeah, I mean, overall, I do think that the material usage on here is good from a performance aspect. From a quality standpoint, I mean, for $210, and I'm not sure if that price is for the regular GT Cut 3 Turbo, whenever that does come out, or if it's just for this black label colorway, but damn, like for $210, I was expecting way nicer feeling, way nicer quality materials, but in terms of the performance, it does get the job done just fine. So moving on to the fit, I think the GT Cut 3 Turbo runs true to size. If you're a narrow footer, normal footer, slightly wide footer, I do think going true to size is your best bet. If you have wide feet to really wide feet, maybe go up a half size. But you will definitely feel some pressure. It does get a little bit narrow up in the forefoot area, so you'll definitely feel some pressure around where this plastic piece is. But besides that, like overall, the fit is very nice and snug. I didn't have any dead space up in the toe box area. This is a half booty upper, so you do get as close of a one-to-one fit as possible in the shoe. And yeah, everything felt very, very conformed to my foot. So I personally enjoyed the fit. It felt very, very nice on foot. So I personally think that the fit in the GT Cut 3 Turbo is actually very good. So moving on to the support, this is where I do think the GT Cut 3 Turbo does outperform the regular GT Cut 3. For some reason, in the GT Cut 3, I had a little bit of heel slippage, but in the GT Cut 3 Turbo, I don't have any heel slippage. You do have an internal heel counter, and this back part is very, very stiff and rigid. You aren't gonna have any heel containment issues, no heel slippage, no like twisting or turning, nothing like that. It's very, very nice. As far as side-to-side movement goes, you're going to be covered there as well. Like I already mentioned, they do use pretty stiff and rigid materials, so that does make sure your foot is not sliding around on that footbed. And also, I will say the one nice thing about like the ZoomX insole is it does grab your sock, so it does kind of help with that sliding around as well. So this plastic piece right here on the regular GT Cut 3 was pretty flimsy, but it is noticeably stiffer on here. And Nike says that they injected carbon fiber into this. And honestly, I'm not sure what they mean by that. Like, how do you inject carbon fiber into something? Like, I don't know. This basically just feels like carbon fiber or fake carbon fiber. Like it has the look of it, but you know, I have carbon fiber on my car and it's not the same, right? So yeah, I'm not sure what they did. Maybe there's just like a harder plastic underneath, but it does feel stiffer, which is great because that is like one of the areas where, you know, I think I also had an issue with the regular GT Cut 3. So yeah, I mean, they just improved the support, which is nice. You aren't gonna be, you know, rolling over on those hard lateral movements. This base is fairly wide, so you should feel very confident when you're doing hard cuts and crosses. And then when it comes to torsional rigidity and stability, you do have a shank plate in here, and it also has a carbon fiber texture, but honestly, I feel like this is just plastic. But yeah, I mean, support in the GT Cut 3 Turbo is, for me at least, noticeably better than the GT Cut 3. So the GT Cut 3 Turbo in the black label colorway does retail for a lot of money. It's $210. I'm not sure if the regular GT Cut 3 Turbo will retail for $210 or if it'll be, you know, like $180, $190, or whatever the original retail price of the GT Cut 3 is. But for $210, like that is a very, very expensive shoe. And even if this was, you know, the $180 or $190, I still think it is a very expensive shoe. Is it worth the price though? I mean, in terms of tech, I would say yes and no. Like ZoomX is a very nice foam, but there's also companies out there that are producing shoes with also nice foam setups. for way less. But I will say, if you do like the GT Cut 3 and you want a more supportive GT Cut 3, I think you all should go pick up a pair of these. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a very expensive shoe, but it is also a very good performer. My only one real big issue is the traction on the dustier courts, but besides that, everything else was really nice. But like I said, $210 for this, probably not it. I would just personally rather play in something like, I don't know, the Book One or something, right? Like that's $50 to $70 or $80 cheaper. And yeah, the tech isn't as nice, but it's not worth that big price difference. But if you all have money to blow or you just want a better GT Cut 3, go ahead, pick up a pair of these. So if you all do want to buy a pair of these, I'll try to leave a link down in the description box below. But yeah, I mean, the GT Cut 3 Turbo is a solid performer, but it's just very expensive. That's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below and hit that thumbs up button for me, as it really does help me out. Also, please leave a comment, as those really help me out too. Check out these videos over here, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.